Flosstube, it's Nerissa from Nerissa's Stitching Lifestyle in Christchurch, New Zealand. Welcome. Today is April the 3rd, 2025, and this is Flosstube number 47. I'm pretty sure it's 47. Thank you for coming along and watching my cross stitch journey. Before we get too far into this, I would like to thank all of the Flosstubers that have recently given my channel a shout out. Really appreciate it. It's so heartwarming and overwhelming when your name gets called out on some of these other channels, and they're huge big channels, and it's just wow, thank you. There's been a few lately and I really do appreciate it. I'm just a stitcher. I love doing what I do. I love stitching what I stitch. I love watching other people stitching. I just love stitching. Let's just be honest. I love the stitching. That's just part of who I am, and it makes me happy. And that's the all important thing, is being happy with what I'm doing. So thank you very much. Thank you to the new subscribers that I've received. I hope that you enjoy my channel and that you find something that brings you joy and something that interests you in maybe picking up a project. Working on those ones that we start, we get about a quarter of the way through, we kind of push them aside because something new comes in. And we want to work on that because everyone else is working on that. I totally understand that we all fall into that trap. I do, even myself. So let's work on some of those new projects, some of those older projects, and see where we go, eh? You'll see in mine today, I have 10, 11, I think, whips to show you that I've worked on in the last fortnight. Some of them have big progress, some of them have little progress. They pretty much all get a night, maybe a night and a half, or a day. When I have a day off, they might get a big day of stitching. Hi, Kitty. Come and say hello. Here you go. Say hello. Say, I'm going to go and live with my daddy soon. Yay! Can't wait. Kitty is not my cat. Kitty is my granddaughter's cat, and very vocal, as you know, and is hopefully in about 10 days moving back in with them, which will be really nice. Chubba Chop is asleep. I don't know if you can see at the bottom of the camera down there in his little wee bed, and Saneem is asleep behind the couch because that's where she likes to curl up and sleep. She can see outside and behind the curtains, and that's her favourite spot. Whereas Kitty will just annoyingly be everywhere, including trying to rub against the cross stitching. There you go. Alright, enough waffling. Shall we get into this? Okay, so normally I would start with Christmas stitching, and today I don't have any Christmas stitching. I really haven't worked on Christmas this fortnight, which is quite sad. I need to get back into a better routine. I'm missing stitching my Christmas stuff. But change of season, change of projects, this is what happens. In my last Flosstube, I had two big finishes, two big sampler finishes, and that kind of throws you out a little wee bit. You get that I either go one way or the other. I either want to stitch just on one thing and kind of become a little bit monogamous, or I want to work on everything. And some of them it's finding that project or group of projects that calls to you after you've finished something, so that you want to keep stitching. That's where sometimes I struggle a little wee bit, and I want, just back up again, and I want to yeah, I just can't settle on a project or a group of projects. This time round, I couldn't pick up my Christmas. It wasn't calling to me. Can you please get down? She's trying to sit on the cross stitch. Yeah, you'll see. There's 11 samplers. That's right, I'm just being beaten up by the cat now. There's 11 samplers to have a look at that I've made progress on. Like I said, some little, some big. Sorry if I just repeated myself. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Right, so with a group of my friends, who we got? So there's myself, Judith, Susie, Tanya, and now Lee has joined us this week, and we're all stitching reed thread a day, and we have to post our progress. And my first one that I've been working on for my reed thread a day is a stitch in time saves 9. Now this is from Hands Across the Sea Samplers, and it was an exclusive for a stitch in time in Hobart, Tasmania, which is in Australia. Lovely little wee sampler. I am so enjoying stitching on this. I'm going to show you where I've got to. So you have to do a minimum of 1 reed thread. Sometimes I do 2, sometimes I do 3 if I want to kind of finish the letter or finish the row. Thread hanging there. So this is currently where I'm at. I'm almost there. This is being stitched on a piece of, hold on a second, grab it out. A piece of 56 count Kingston linen, just in flax, so just in a nice neutral colour. I chose my own fabric, I didn't buy the kit, but I am using the Cooled 4 Soie 103 in colour number 664, and this is all I've got left. So I'm going to buy a bit of thread chicken, I think, but we'll get there. Hopefully we're going to have enough. I'm just trying to think where I was at last time. I know I definitely have finished off this row, added more to this row, done this alphabet and this one. I didn't look back to see how far I'd got. I think I still had a bit of this one to go and maybe a couple of letters. I don't know, but I've stitched on it every day. And I've put at least 1 thread in there. Like this morning I used 3 threads and I did the LMNO. My goal, or my plan, I should say my plan with this one is I'm going to finish doing the lettering. Because I'm playing thread chicken, I am going to finish the lettering. I'm going to miss out this little wee part here. I'm going to put this alphabet in, and I will finish off, of course, the dividing row. And then I'll come up and I'll work on this little piece up here, which is another Celtic cross, to go up here. And then, if I have enough thread, I'm going to go back and I'll put in the July and 1886. Because if I don't have enough, I'm not going to put in that little bit, and I'm not going to put in the double dots at the end here. Because I don't want to not finish it, but I don't want to have to go and buy another whole spool just to do like 2 little wee things. So we're going to see how far we get. Hopefully, I'd like to actually have it finished in the next week, but we'll see. But I do love how that is coming out. She's tiny. That's the size of my hand. So she's pretty much the size of my hand, which is cool. It's gonna be lovely. So that was a stitch in time saves 9. I'm not sure if it's still available. You'd have to jump on their website and have a look. Okay, let's have a look. They're not in order that I've stitched on them. All right, they are just in order that I've got them sitting around to me. So then one of the next ones I've worked on is, what are we? Simple Gifts Spool from Janette Douglas. This was part of the Homespun and Needleworks Facebook group. It was an exclusive that came out. It's absolutely gorgeous. So in the kit you get the pattern, of course you got the fabric, the backing fabric, the spool, and the threads. So I have made pretty good progress on this. So last time we had the border part started. We've done the flower, the bee, and the flowers up to here. This one up to under the bottom here, and then this time I've added in this purple flower here, the one under, little tiny one underneath the big star, and the pair of scissors. So we're not quite halfway, if I remember right, in the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, so I'd say, oops, once we get past the heart is about halfway. I haven't filled in these little satin stitches that go inside this part here, that goes all the way around and right to the end, because I want to do the satin stitches last. Once we've got there. This is stitched on 36 count. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on when I'm filming, so it's a bit hard to read the little writing. 36 count, and most of the threads are Weeks Dye Works. Came on a little wee card. So you don't use a lot of thread. Like I think I used 3 strands to do the star here, which is not a lot. It was only 3 strands to do the pair of scissors. But loving how this is coming out. Can't wait to get this done and assembled. Okay, project number 3. I'm just going to mark so I know when we've talked about them. Is another red thread a day. Now I haven't been doing this every day. I did sit down and do some of this morning while I was waiting for washing to dry and stuff. Even though, to be honest, it's pouring down with rain here in Christchurch today. Absolutely crazy, but we're going into winter. I know the northern hemisphere is going into spring, or summer. We're going into winter, so it's starting to get cooler and miserable, and this is probably really our first real rainstorm that we've had in Christchurch anyway. So it's fair pelting down this morning, but it's kind of stopped a little bit now, which is nice. So Harriet Salt, and she was orphan number 1628, and this is a Bristol sampler from Hands Across the Sea. Harriet is a very big girl, but she is beautiful. So mine is being stitched on 56 count. Just a, I think it's antique cream or cream, just a very plain, because I want the sampler to really stand out. I chose to stitch mine with 100 threes, colour number 648, which is kind of a deep burgundy red, and that's because this one looks more burgundy red when you see it a little bit, but hold on 1 second. But the fabric patches that Nicola brought out, and you could buy the fabric pouches, is a real deep burgundy, and that's what I based my colour choice off. I love this, and I know this isn't real antique brown, but I do love the colour of it. So when I'm stitching on 56 count, I do use, and the cat, I can see the cat sitting on it, I do use a little wee, it's about 3-inch spring hoop, just to help hold it taut. So this is the top row, and we're almost done. So we had from the X to the letter E last time. This time I have stitched the D, the C, and half the B. So half the B, the little A, and then we'll come down and do the Y and the Z, and that will be the first alphabet finished. I'm hoping to stitch those this afternoon. And then we get into slightly smaller, because that's quite a big big alphabets along the top here. And there's the Y and the Z, as you can see there, and then we go into a small alphabet. So I'm just going to kind of work row by row, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. So that is Harriet Salt. I'm just going to pop her away in her bag, only because light coloured fabric, black cat, don't work well together. Put that back on the couch. Okay, right, so let's get into some of the other samplers that we've been working on. Okay, so when it was my birthday in January, I have two friends, Susie and Tanya, and Tanya and I share the same birthday, and Susie's birthday is a few days ahead of ours. So we all wanted to do a new start for our birthdays, and I had one on the go, which I finished now, and I chose to start Serenity as one of the other ones, and the other one I'm also doing is Let Love Rain. But Serenity by Teresa kogut is the one that I pulled out this week to have a little bit of stitchy time, because it hasn't been worked on in the last month, and I thought she was about time, because I'd like to have this one and Let Love Rain both finished by the time it's my next birthday. So I have beginning of April, so you might say March. So I have 10 months to stitch two more big samplers, plus all the others that I want to work on. Right, so this Serenity. Oh, sorry, my ring light just wants to be real reflective today. Serenity by Teresa kogut, called for, now I've done mine all in the DMC threads. I am stitching this on 46 count up in the attic from Fox and Rabbit. Sorry, I just had to look at my notes then. Right, so this is where we're at so far. All of this was all done before. This time round, I wanted to work on one of those beautiful butterflies or moths. I don't know if it's a butterfly or a moth. It kind of looks like a moth to me, but I'm going to call it a butterfly because it doesn't have antenna. Or it does. No, sorry, it does. Tiny little antenna at the top. But then, it was so gorgeous. So there's another one of those over on this side here. But we only got one done this time around. It's gorgeous. Absolutely love how this is coming together. There's so much lovely stuff in Teresa's pattern. So sorry about that light. Here's the little moth up here. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. So pleased that I pulled that out and actually gave it some love. It's looking really, really good. Okay, so we're just going to pop. Kind of have to maneuver around a little wee bit today. What's on the other side of that? Mary. Okay. So, during the fortnight, I had to take my car to go and get a warrant to make it, you know, legally roadworthy. And it took about an hour and a half. Lucky for me, I always have stitching in the car, or take stitching with me, knowing, because it's normally at least 45 minutes, but it did take a long time this time. And I took Ann Diaper with me, 1826, another Hands Across the Sea sampler. This one is being stitched on 36 count that I hand dyed myself. And instead of sort of the more browny tones, mine's got more pinky tones underneath it, which I really like. It's being stitched with the DMC threads. I love how the colours are popping on the fabric. And make sure we go up the right way. This problem, I've got two patterns on each board this time. So if we step back to the coffee table behind me, this is where Mary Ann is at right now. So the only time I picked Mary Ann up was when we were at the testing station, and I got 1, 2, 3 orange flowers. Well, almost 3. Probably another 50 stitches to go on this one here. Orange stitches done. What orange flowers? Sorry, done on her. But I do love how this is coming out, and my gosh, that orange just stands out so lovely. But as you can see, mine's a like tan and pink background. I really wanted it to have the pinky tones in it. But she's coming together really nicely. So hopefully this fortnight she'll get a little bit more love. She is one of my focus for a finish pieces that I'm trying to get done hopefully before Stash Sampler starts, but we'll see. Right, we're going to drop that down on the ground. Okay, so just mark off our little list. Marianne. Righty ho. So next is Florence. Florence Mary Dickson. Hands Across the Sea samplers. You'll see the majority of mine, if you're sort of newish to my channel, are Hands Across the Sea. I mean, I love samplers. I love all stitching, but I really love samplers, and I love a lot of the reproduction samplers. I may change some of the things around in them, but I still love the basis of it. And if anything I change, it's still with the person's name. But I always put on the back of my sampler, when it's framed, it has information about it. It has the where the pattern came from, or who the original stitcher was, so who the design that we now use nowadays has come from, all the details about them, and then my details, so as in me and what year I stitched it, etc. What tool, you know, fabric and threads and stuff I used. So that's on the back of them. But I do, Florence is absolutely gorgeous. We're getting there. This one was an exclusive from Hobby House Needleworks. I don't think Florence is available anymore. I'm pretty sure it's not. Probably on the secondary market, but that would be about it. Okay, so this, of course, came as a kit. So this is the called for Tabby Cat linen, and I think it was cream brulee. And I'm using 103 silks. This one, it's a little bit blown out. It's just the cloudy weather, the having to have all the lights on, it's just not helping today, the filming. Let me see. So this time I finished working on some more of the flowers in the middle. So we got some of these done. Finished like the leaves all only had the darker colour of green. We put in the light green. We finished off the red rose flower up here, and I've started coming down now to finish off the flowers. There's another bunch of flowers on this side here before we get to the big bow. So if we had a little look, there's this bunch of flowers here, and then there's another bunch there, and then there's that big bow in the middle. So I'm trying to get that done. But this is such a sweet little wee piece, and I do agree with Brenda about making sure you do work on some of the border each time, because there's a lot of little detail and a lot of little fill-in to be done in through there, and that's, you know, all 4 sides. It's a big full-on border, and I do love the big borders. I love them with all their details. So Florence Mary Dickson. Right, so then on, are you there, Florence? Okay, so my other one that I've put some love into is my Zoom get together with Judith, and we are stitching on the Uffindell sisters. Anne is in the middle up on the back wall. Oops, hand this way. That one there. That's Ann Uffindell. She's finished and framed. And I'm currently working on Isabella. She is being stitched on 36 count. And I'm using DMC threads. Easily accessible. And the colours are just absolutely gorgeous. Nicola does, or Hands Across the Sea, Nicola does such a great job at matching the colours up to the antique sampler. So here is my Isabella. I have got it folded up because there is a little bit more framework, bones of the frame around the other side, but I've been concentrating up on this top border. So this time on our zoom, I'm trying to think how you can see it. So we fold in the little flowers in the pots, and I did all of the satin stitches in these guys here, which I think are called bluebells, I think. Don't quote me on that, I may be incorrect. And then I started fully filling in the grass under here. It's all one colour, so nice easy fill when you're chatting away. But we're almost through that top row of flowers, I guess you would call it. So this here basically gets repeated on this one here, on this side. Fill in the rest of that grass, and then we've got some little wee details that needs to come here and bring that border around before we can kind of go down. And I don't normally do that on a sampler. Normally I do kind of do the bones, the border, and jump, like put the internal bones in, so if there's any big like grass areas like this, and I kind of jump around. But this one I'm not doing page by page, but I'm kind of doing a third by a third by a third. Would be the easiest way to explain it. And that there is probably about true to colour. Loving this. So one thread over 2, 36 count with the DMC. Love Isabella. Can't wait to have her finished either. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be no room left on that wall up there, is there? Okay, so the next one that we have sampler I worked on is another exclusive from Homespun Needleworks. If you're not a member, go join on Facebook. I don't buy all the exclusives because one, getting them to New Zealand is really expensive from some of the stores, but sometimes they just pull at your heartstrings and you have to have them, and Charlotte Warrington was definitely one of those. I think I bought it within about 5 minutes of seeing it. Oh well. But she's lovely. She is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So she is from Needlework Press. And of course it was bought as a kit, so Wheat Stow Works. And I have these two colours separated because you get a lot of these two colours. One is lily pad and the other one is red rocks. One is pretty much the grass, and the other one is the big house. I think it looks more like a castle, but in the middle, and that is what I did. So it is stitched on 46 count, gosh, hog bristle, 1/2. So this time round I have started adding in this huge big castle. I'm going to call it a castle because to me that's what it looks like. So it I haven't done the mortar. I pretty much worked on all the red. I've put in the framework for the windows and the doors, but they're not filled in yet. I just needed a change from basically doing a sea of green. I did finish off the thread that was in here on the tree, so there's still a little bit more greenery to go here, and in this branch here still needs to have its fruit put on it, and then fold it in, and that will be that tree done. But I did also come down and work on filling in some more of the green grass, just so that we keep coming along and, you know, working along as well. I need to do some more of the white sheep in through here, because then there's the pond with the swan in the middle. But I really want to get kind of to the edge about there before we start that pond. So this was my last, is it Saturday? It was either Saturday or Sunday, and I can't remember which one of the two. And that was a whole day stitching. Like literally, I sat stitching, got up and did other little bits and pieces, but sat stitching for the whole day and got all of that done. So I'm quite wrapped with that. Absolutely wrapped with how Charlotte is coming. She's going to be a very big girl. This is her folded in half. The fabric is literally, there's the other end of it. So she's a very, very big girl, but she's very dense, heavy at the bottom. It's definitely full coverage at the bottom there. So as you can see, we're not even probably, I think I'm at the bottom of it. I'm about halfway, but there's still another turret to go there, and the big part in the middle is the house. But we'll get there before we get to the other half. Yeah. So here is my Charlotte. I absolutely love how she's coming together. I'll pop her down here too. I love all my samplers. Okay. So after Charlotte, I brought out another oldie that I've been working on for a very long time, but I haven't stitched on her for a little. I haven't really stitched on her this year, or did I? No, I hadn't. I pulled her out because I haven't stitched on her. But I have lots of Hands Across the Sea samplers, and I have all the Queen of the Mays, and I want to stitch every single one of them. But I'm holding off starting some more until I finish the first Queen of the May that I started, which was Queen of the May 2018, Sarah Brazier. And she is from 1829. And she's the one, very big one with the brown deer in the middle. And lots of the satin stitches in the two borders. So, Sarah came out and got some love. This is, stand back there, that's the whole thing. We've done it on the top, and this is the bones of the bottom border, but I haven't filled anything in down there yet. Okay, so this is 56 count, swap sides, 56 count, and I am stitching this with DMC thread, 1/2. So this time round, try and get it in close enough, that berry bowl at the top here with the birds. So I had the green done in the berry bowl, and I have filled in the rest in the stitching session that I had. So all the berries are in satin stitch. Did the basket, and then it had these side things coming out in the two birds sitting on the side and the bird on the top. And then this one part here I started, and that is another one of these. He comes on this side here. But that's what I worked on for Sarah Brazier. So a lot of stitching, but it doesn't look like much when you look at it compared to the rest of the sampler. But I do love how Sarah is coming out. So Sarah has to stay out because the goal is this is going to be finished by the end of the year, if not beforehand. And there is still a lot of stitching to do in Sarah. So she needs to come out more regularly than she has been. can't think what year I started her in. I don't think, sometimes I write it in the corner of the book. No, I didn't on this one. I'd have to go back. No, I'd have to go back on my Instagram and have a look. But absolutely love Sarah. And I can't wait to have her finished and up on my wall either. And yes, I do have more walls than just this one behind me that need to be filled with stitching. Some things will change. Some of the smaller samplers will come away. And I'll probably swap some other things in and out when some of these other ones get finished. Okay, we're still not done. Let me just flick, flick, flick. And even written here on my list. I'll forget to add her to the list on the thing. Righty ho, so my next one that I pulled out and I'm working on every fortnight is Examplars from the Heart and They Sinned. This is the tall narrow one. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we are making our way down. Right. Ooh. So here she is. Let's get back to the side. This is as far as we've got. The fabric is folded up underneath today, not right down. But I'm going to bring it forward so I can show you where I've worked. This side. Problem with having big boards, you can't maneuvering around. So here's the bottom, not the complete bottom. This is the bottom before we get into the big full coverage part in the very bottom of the sampler. So I didn't work on any of this part this time. I went back up and I finished working in here. There's still a little bit more to go. So what did I work on? The birds in the crown here. These parts here. Just trying to think. I think I had to finish this peacock. It's all bird that's sitting on top of the flower in that one. I can't remember completely. This was at the beginning of the fortnight, sorry. But I'm so happy with my progress. So literally it's repeat this head and top half of the body here. Did I do the grapes this time? I think I had to do the grapes this time too. Yeah, head and body, and then like all these little wee bits and pieces are the same colour as the shirt, and they will come in around here as well. And then there's still a little plant thing that needs to go in the middle of this one. And then that will be that section there done. I still have to come up and do the two peacocks here, which I will get to. I thought they weren't worth doing until I pull out that colour thread again. Which if it's only in a little, I think it's in a little bit in this one, and then I can go up and do those. So this is stitched on 40 count hog bristle from Fox and Rabbit, using the Cold 4 Classic Colourworks or sampler threads, and just a couple of DMCs. There's a few that only need a few stitches, and a couple that I just couldn't get the colours, so I just went with the DMC option. But you couldn't tell when it's actually stitched. You can't tell. But can't wait to have this one up on my wall either. And I kind of over here, if we move you that way a little wee bit, she'll fit. I don't need to move the little table, but she'll actually fit from like underneath one of those and down. So I think that's where she's going to go, is under his eyes on the sparrow. And I'm just going to put her in there. She's the right height, she'll fit, even when she is framed. So I kind of know where my samplers are going. I do have plans. I just have to, manoeuvre some furniture around. But that's right. Okay. So that was End They Singed. Right, and lucky last sampler that I worked on this time around was Elfrowst embroidery, and it is the Everflowering Garden. Now this is another huge big sampler, and I want this one in my bedroom. It's going in my bedroom. It just is. I love the colours in this, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. The picture, it really doesn't do it justice when you start to see the colours come together. It is stitched with like 11, I think it is, 11 or 12 DMC colours. That is it to do this whole sampler. And just the combo when you put, you know, certain colours next door to each other, how they look slightly different is awesome. Rightio, so this is on 46 count. Oh my gosh, brain has gone again. I have it written down here somewhere. Here, yep, 46 count. Definitely. I know it's Fox and Rabbit. Pretty sure of it. No. I think it is up in the attic. I have a funny feeling. Because I've got a whole yard. I think it is up in the attic. And I cut some off to do Dutch sampler. So Dutch sampler is on the exact same fabric. Okay, sidetracking, sorry. Right. So here's my piece, and this is folded in half once again, so she is going to be ginormous, and we're way up here. This time round, this was another one of I think I did this on the Saturday, and it must have been the castle on the Sunday. Was that the weekend where I homebodied and I stayed home and stitched. So we got the green, the dividing border here done, so all the green and all the red, and I started in on one of those awesome trees. I didn't quite get it finished. There's another one of these here, and then I think it has a little wee bit of the lighty colour in the middle here. To do, and oh, I am so pleased with my progress on this one. So this is kind of what I do is on my days, also like today, even though it's a filming day, I will pick one of my bigger projects. When I finish recording, I will pick a big project that I want to get a big motif done on, and while it's recording, uploading, all those things to Flosstube, I will, that will be my day stitching. So, you know, sometimes it can take 3 or 4 hours just for these Flosstubes to upload. By the time they do that, you know, I don't do a lot, really, any editing other than adding my intro and just the information in the downward box. I don't have time to sit there and edit too much. I've done it a couple of times and it just takes me all day, and that's lost stitching time. But I do try and work on the bigger projects on my days off. So during the week when I'm working, it's like either Christmas, or at the moment it's been my run red thread in the morning. So I do little stitching in the morning, and I do, say, a smaller motif on a project, but that might be 2 nights in a row to get that motif finished. Whereas the bigger project I will work on my whole day off, just to give them, you know, a really big chunk of time to get stitching done, because some of those things take a lot of time to get, you know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 stitches. And I think, not this one, but I think the castle was about 3,500 stitches. She was a lot of stitches. And yes, I am a fast stitcher, but I also give myself a lot of time. You know, put a good couple of movies on and away you go, or a movie series, TV series, something. And that's how I stitch. But there you go. One last look at Forest Everflowering Garden. I'm just going to leave that one there. Okay, so that is all of my works in progress for this fortnight. What have we got coming up? We've still got another couple of weeks till Easter, so we'll film it again before Easter. I do have something happening towards the end of April that might put me out for a couple of weeks. Don't know final information yet, so I can't share that. But I'll just keep stitching in between where and when I can. Have just about caught up completely on Flosstube. Some of you guys have been on time and a half speed to watch and catch up. But oh, just the community, just the love. There's so many Flosstubers out there. Please try. I know we all have our favourites. I have my favourites that as soon as they post, I try and watch if I've got time. Just so Sherry, can I just say love? I can't wait till yours come out on Sundays. For you it's Sunday, for me it's Monday. So it either means Monday after work or I have Monday off. So sometimes when it posts and sees you over there, I'm right there. Brenda and Laura, the last one I did have to wait a few days to watch. It was just such a big long one to find that couple of hours to sit and do that. Who else do I watch? Oh my gosh. David's quilting, watched his. Moonshine Stitchery. Oh my gosh, she's so many. Carol, of course, Saltbox Stitcher. Just trying to think. Lisa, Kindred Stitcher. Look, honestly, I probably have about 40 that I watch religiously. As soon as they post, if I can, I'll watch. If not, they go on my watch later list. And then I try and watch new people, and I try and watch people that don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, and get their numbers up for them. Because we all like to know we've got to at least 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, try and watch some old ones, some new ones. Try and find somebody new every time. It just helps boost someone else's self-esteem, and it's great. So just remember, one stitch at a time will get our projects done. One stitch at a time we'll get our big samplers stitched. One stitch at a time we'll get our smalls done as well. So happy stitching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.